brothers in America, the host that does the most, brother Leo, brother Conscious, my co-host, brother Holy Water with a side of green tea, green tea, green tea.
I gotta be, I
Um,
gotta be, I gotta be real with you. We got to switch it. If we can, we got to switch it this intro, bro. We got to switch. You said the same. You been
if
the
it ain't
same.
broke, don't fix it, brother. If it ain't broke,
It's
don't fix
it,
it. Consistency is key. That's what I'm talking about. But it's the host that does the most, brother Leo, brother Conscious,
oh my.
with the co-host, Mr. Holy Water and green tea.
All right, brother.
Green
All
tea,
right.
green tea, green tea. But anyhow, family, today we speaking on today our podcast is based on black unity. We want to speak on black unity, and I have to give a disclaimer. I'll give this disclaimer before we start. And when I say black unity, ain't speaking about separation, ain't speaking about racism or anything like that. I'm speaking about unity in terms of black people in the diaspora, black people in the diaspora, all across the four corners of this earth. You understand? Have all went through some form of racism, a lot of separation, colonialism, and imperialism, the whole nine. That give us a foreign culture, foreign ideals, and so forth. So when I speak on black unity, that's just today's segment is on black people unifying all across the globe. That's what I want to speak on today. All right. Or we speaking on today. Choice of words. All right, family. The last conversation me and Holy was having yesterday that we going not yesterday, the day before yesterday, we were speaking on Kwame Kumar, and some of Kwame Kumar his ideologies of Kwame Kumar. Holy, you want to start off, brother? You want to start off with me? Go ahead.
You got it.
Okay, Kwame Kumar, his core ideological pillars in terms of ideology. All right, Kwame Kumar championed immediate political and economic unification of Africa. His ideas, Africa. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Rock with it.
Yes, Kwame Nkrumah, he championed the immediate political and economic unification of Africa, where he was sitting and he was talking about it. He wanted Africa to unite as a forefront and as a whole. Um, Africa, because when we see the media and we see the news, we see a lot of scrutiny that happens between like Africans and all most of the people that derive of African descendants. However, people look black, basically. And we have a lot of but he was sitting and he's speaking on the forefront on blacks, on black people uniting as a whole, you know what I'm saying, and not the basic stereotype you on see on the news and so forth. uh uh 1 second, his ideology, give me a minute. Unification. Famously declaring that Ghana independence was meaningless without the total liberation of the entire continent. Martin Luther King once said, injustice anywhere is a problem for justice anywhere. You can't have justice over here up north and then we have injustice in the south. You know what I'm saying? It got to be a united forefront. Got to be united at the forefront, not just the north is free, but the south ain't. It's a problem for the whole, like globally. You know what I'm saying? When you speaking about unification, African unification. Give me 1 minute. Uh, he advocated for borderless political united African superstate to prevent neo-colonialism and give the continent a powerful voice of a global stage. Because when we say like Africa supposed to represent like the motherland in a perspective. Africa's supposed to represent the motherland in perspective, and a lot of people that of African descent, or that's in the African diaspora. And Kwame Kumar, he was speaking on unity, like black people coming together and uniting. Like how in Africa and also in Americas, how they have borders, like South America, different from America different from Canada. You know what I'm saying? The aspects he wanted us to unify the whole borders. Brother Holy. Let me get any feedback from you, brother. Let me get any feedback from you.
No, no, I'm letting you go ahead. Rock with it real quick.
Yes, yes. Yes. Do 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 do. Do. Give me.
Can you break down repatriation for us?
We ain't getting there yet. That's gonna be when I jump
I
onto
got you.
the
I got you. I got you.
brother.
No doubt.
We wanted another part. I definitely will.
Okay, got it.
Um, I would just say, what was your quote again? You said you told me the other day regards to Kwame Kuma.
Well, I don't know. What was the quote?
You was telling me Kwame Kuma was saying like people in the Caribbean. What he was telling me a message said I don't know if you remember that.
You said a message.
Yes, to Americans.
Uh, the message. He wanted Black Americans to come to Ghana to contribute. Uh, I guess to kind of help taken if they decide to leave America.
Uh, do you think that was a you request?
Say it again.
Do you think that was a separate request for Kwame Kuma?
You kind of request?
Do you think that that was a selfish request of him
No, I don't think it.
to
I don't.
ask? That,
It depends on his intentions, but I don't believe just by looking at it from the surface level that it was selfish. No, I'm listening to you though, bro.
mm, yes. So you don't think that was a selfish guess because I'm going to piggyback of another brother when another brother said another brother, Marcus Malay Gavi, a native of the Caribbean of Jamaica, and he also said in regards, he said you cannot bring him going back. He's speaking on repatriation, something you spoke on earlier, repatriation, because his message and his ideals was it was for people who being mistreated. This is from 1916 to 1920s, from 1960 to 1920s. Marcus Garvey was given his ideologies on black people being treated across the world for us to pack up and go back to Africa. You know what I'm saying? And in the midst of him making a declaration to people in the new world, he also said that everybody that's has our skin, all our skin folks and our kin folks, meaning not because they share the same skin color and complexion as us, or have everybody don't think alike. He said he's not bringing back everyone back to Africa. I want to break down a little part on what you said to with Kwame Kuma. Um, and, um, he wanted American. I don't feel like that was a selfish request of him. I mean, I personally don't think that's a selfish request of him. I think that that's them building a relationship, building a rapport, building a relationship, building a level of consistency and development in terms of repatriation. Because I know, like me and many other black folks here in America, they also and they be like, "Yo, you got someplace to go to." I.e., example, I got the Caribbean to go to, and then Americans say, "Yo, America is home for a lot of folks. It's home for a lot of people." And I was saying like that would kind of bring you like a kind of unify like black people towards being on accord, like unify us in
Let
terms
me
of we
let me
have
stop.
actually somewhere.
Let me stop you real quick. Your internet is kind of choppy.
My apologies. Go ahead and take over, brother.
Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can. Go ahead, brother. The mic is yours. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, basically, I'm gonna get into my well, basically,
Don't forget the unified African. What we talking about in terms
yeah,
of
yeah,
what we speaking on.
yeah. I got you.
SOGP.
I got you. I'm just, so basically, I want to start off with the etymology of the word tribe. So,
Yes,
if
sir. Tribalism.
if we go into the etymology of the word tribe, one of the 12 divisions of the ancient, one of the 12 divisions, well, they're looking at it from the biblical standpoint, but I'm looking at it from just the extension to modern ethnic groups or races of people, um, from the 1500s, specifically a division of the barbarous race of people, usually distinguishable in some way from their congeners, united into a community under a recognized head or chief. Now, these terminologies may come from like the 1500s up to the 1800s, but
Mhm.
the reason why I bring about tribe is because I want to also talk about how colonialism influenced tribalism. So here I have an article, africanarguments.org, and one of the sections in the article is making tribe. In Africa, as in the US, the ruling powers faced the challenge of subjugating black people. Here, however, racial strategies were unsuited for the task at hand, since a black majority with a united race consciousness would pose a threat to white minority control. European powers therefore turned towards a tribal strategy of creating and enforcing divisions in the majority. They entrenched the tribe as the basis of social, economic, and political life through a policy known as indirect rule. So, what we see here is a colonial structure that began to divide many of the people into a tribalism fashion. And even though they had tribes already, that indirect focus was to control the what? The resources. I see over there smirking. I don't know why, but so
Mhm.
we begin to go into tribalism, right? And here's another article from
Mhm.
socialalternatives.com. This is actually, I believe, is a PDF file. Tribalism has been
Mhm.
often Tribalism has been often vilified as the greatest obstacle to peace and progress in Africa. As a proper diagnosis of a
Mhm.
problem is essential to identifying a sound solution. A factual exposition exposition refers to the insertion of background information within a story. So the colonial structure that's happening here with tribalism is they're creating background forces to divide the people just to control the resources. So now, if you go
Mhm.
back, a factual exposition of theories relating to tribalism is crucial in the efforts to stem tribalism and promote peace and stability on the African continent. Stereotypical colonial theories about the African past as a civilization vacuum are coming under attack. Western scholars have increasingly endorsed assertions by Africans about a past which was well civilized. Back then, Africa was well civilized, but they took it to this barbarous nature, which stems from this terminology, tribalism, where people are just running around, just going crazy. But a lot of that came from colonialism. Now, my question to a lot of people is like, we see in Africa today a lot of European focused Christianity, even though Africans had Christianity before it was colonized into this European basis of Christianity. So if you look here, I came to another article here called the CS Monitor, csmonitor.com. While the glory and brutal turmoil in South Africa has grabbed the daily headlines, the recent military coup in Uganda and good part the result of tribal rivalries calls attention to another less well-known but very important part of Africa, Central Africa, once known as the heart of the dark continent because of its isolation. This is an area after the Soviet Union is trying hard to penetrate, while we often think of Africa as a single entity. There are actually three distinct and quite different Africas, each the product of a different evolutionary history. So these are just little pieces of articles where there's a distinction that's created, but a lot of those distinctions that's created is coming from a colonial structure, a colonial empire, and they begin to use the European version of Christianity to begin to dominate the minds of people who probably already believe in Christianity. and then they began to enforce those ideologies on the people. So this whole tribalism culture is directly enforced in many ways by a colonial structure and a colonial power. So that is how I believe a lot of them began to establish authorities over the resources. When I say they, I mean the colonial structures that be. So this is how you get 4.5 million to 5.5 million Caucasian people in Africa able to control the Africas and even other places to control Africa remotely because of the
Mm,
tribalism and the colonialism and the fact that there's so many Christians in Africa is just mind blowing. And I believe that's how they was able to take apart Africa, if you will, like literally take apart, take apart into this colonial structure to begin to focus on disrupting those resources. And it's amazing to me how they use the belief that a lot of people that they actually believe in to disrupt
mhm,
to disrupt the control of resources. And that is a heavy problem for melanated peoples in Africa. And they need to, in my opinion, well, I can't say what they need to do because I don't live there, and I'm not going to try to use any scrutiny when it comes to Africa. But the
mhm,
resources are in Africa, and Africa is actually the richest continent. And there's another term I wanted to, that I looked up. Amorphousness. Amorphousness is a state or quality of lacking a definite form, shape, or clear structure. And when you look at Africa, you don't see a definitive
mhm,
form or definitive shape. The world looks at Africa as one, but does Africa look at Africa as one? That is the point that that is
mm,
the conclusion that I wanted to come to. Is it amorphousness
mm,
or does it have a solidified
mhm,
structure? And if it had a solidified structure,
mhm.
would they be able to take control of the resources? And that is the structure. That is the structure that I would love for Africa to have, is a dominant structure to where
Yes.
they control their own
Mhm,
resources and the landmass where they lived,
mhm,
instead of the
mhm,
resources. And if, for example, coltan is being the people within using those resources are subjugated to give those resources up to the colonial powers that be just to be utilized here in America. But do they have that wealth? No. People like Apple have that wealth, or the companies like Apple, the companies like Samsung,
mhm,
companies, so you have a lot of
mhm,
Asian entities and you have a lot of European entities
mhm,
coming into Africa,
mhm.
taking and not necessarily they're basically destroying the wealth of Africa by stripping its resources. And yet, my opinion, they need to take those resources back. But I close my argument for that right now.
Mm, mm, mm. I want to be back. Ah, listen, nicely delivered, brother. Nicely delivered. You definitely. I give you your flowers for you delivering a nice, uh, uh, uh,
Thesis.
an exceptional, demonstration in the way of words. I want to say
Right.
a few things. I want to piggyback off, right? I definitely tribalism. One second. I was just doing a search on tribalism. They said tribalism has overwhelmingly hurt Africa primarily because colonial powers, you just said and you spoke on, weaponize ethnic differences to rule, leaving behind arbitrary borders. You know what I'm saying? I want to sit in and just talk a little bit on that. I do believe that not just in Africa, and the entire world is governed by ego. A lot of people are governed by ego. We're here in America, we have democracy, but democracy only it benefit those who have it and those who don't. Those who have it benefit the most. But I want to say, um, that's kind of the issue, though. That's kind the issue in terms of Africa never uniting, Africa never like fully uniting. You know what I'm saying? Because again, is I forget you saying 1 something billion people. I don't remember, but for Africa to be like have that many people, that many people living in Africa, and we necessarily are not controlling Africa in terms of wealth, in terms of resources, and it's like for us being ruled entirely as long as we've been here, and for us not like grabbing the whole of Africa and develop Africa was supposed to be Africa, how Africa's supposed to be. This is like Africa's threshold. America is in terms of like world cultural. Africa kind of like when you
brother, brother, you're in. Yeah. I can't. You're disconnecting. You're disconnecting. Yeah, you're disconnecting. I didn't hear anything you said for the past 10 seconds. Hey, close the. We need to close. We need to close this live real quick, and then we need to have a conversation over the phone real quick, so we can figure out this problem.
close this live real quick.
Yeah, I can't like your connection is breaking constantly.
Okay, and it's still now.
Yeah, your connection is breaking constantly, even now.
Okay, okay. I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down.
All right.